I'm back on the crafter addiction. After taking a few days away to do some woodworking, I've come back to Minecraft thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool if I could do woodwork in Minecraft, but instead of having to do the woodwork, I could just press a button. And so the sawmill idea was born. What I want to do is take a regular Minecraft log and turn it into all the things that you can make with wood, apart from this stuff, and honestly, none of the things that I want to make are here. That was embarrassing. Maybe if I search a plank? No, not even plank. What do I have to search for this? Do I have to put a hash? What? There we go. Things like stairs, slabs, maybe fences, trapdoors. You get the picture. We'll have a selector panel, an input chest for the different wood types, and then anything you want will pop out the bottom. The button selector panel. This is what it's going to look like, which I must say, the copper blocks are just the most beautiful blocks in the game. I actually wasn't sure how well they'd go with oak blocks, but they go with everything. There's not a single block they don't go with. From there, we need to take the comparator output from all of the redstone lamps, add in a small redstone circuit that will make it so that only one of the things can be selected at any given time. And that all seems to be working pretty nicely. So every single time we press a button, it will deselect the previous thing that we selected. And now I'm trying to work out how we do the log storage. You see, up here I've got a chest. This is where our logs would go, but that means that the system will only work with one type of wood, which I guess is fine. You could have multiple sawmills, one for each type of wood, but that does seem big. And I'm thinking maybe it might be nice if there's other types of wood that we can have. So I've created this system up at the top here, which is just another button selector panel, but it's for different types of wood. So you would press a button and it switches over. I've only got 4 types here, but of course you can make this as big or as small as you wanted. Now that selector panel is going to connect up to a storage system that I'm going to have on each side, which is going to store a large quantity of each type of wood. Okay, this is going to be a seriously large quantity, but I think it looks cool. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks cool. Look at this. Look at this. I already love this build. I haven't even done any of the redstone for it, really. Next on the to-do list is to wire up all of the storage silos. Obviously, this kind of has nothing to do with the crafter itself, but I thought it would be a nice detail to be able to see how much wood we actually have in the system. So there we go, there we go, there we go, and there we go. Okay, storage system, storage silos, all completed. Now we can start on the fun stuff. First thing that I have to do is hook up these buttons right here to the hoppers underneath the storage silos so that we can start pulling logs from them. At least that's what I thought, but I've now realized that that shouldn't be the way that I do things because that would be horrifically slow. I will explain why a little bit later on. For now, I'm going to start doing the actual crafting circuits. So the first thing that I've got to do is work out what type of item we're actually going to be crafting, and this is achieved by hooking up some pistons to a button selector panel and then actually giving this thing an input. So we'll make our selections, let's say birch and slabs, and then when I hit this button right here, we will get, I guess, 1 stack? I mean, 1 stack seems like a good number, except, you know, now that I've built up all the pulse extenders and things, I've kind of thought maybe just having a lever over here, which allows you to kind of hold down the lever until you have what you need, it's probably the best way to go. Sometimes I only want a couple of chests, sometimes I want 11 stacks of slabs. I think just having a lever here is better, and it also makes life a little bit easier. So I think that settles it. So let's explain. Okay, so we've got the button selector panel, and out the back here you can see we've got a redstone torch, which will turn off for whatever we've selected. When we activate our lever, our system will start dropping out logs from the wood type that we've selected. I haven't actually built that circuit yet, but it will start dropping it out and putting them into this hopper line right here. And the logs will only be able to drop into the segment that we've selected. The logs will then travel through into an initial crafter, which will convert them from being logs into planks. And then it will send them through into the next crafter, which is going to turn them into the specific item that we need. Then those crafters are going to spit the items out into a water stream and then take them over to our player. Now, at the end of this process, our system will then clear out any remaining planks that haven't been used up in the crafting process and also drop them out to the player in the form of junk items, I guess. Now, not only is it nice to get all of the items that we've converted, but also it means that, say for example, you craft up a bunch of acacia slabs and then want to make some oak stairs, you're not going to run into an issue where the crafter is half filled with acacia and won't actually be able to craft anything. So that is the logic. Now to do all the redstone for it, and I think just for the sake of making things compact, I'm actually going to change this configuration just a tiny bit and have our crafters facing that way and then facing this way, so then they can drop out into a water stream here And yeah, it just makes it a little bit smaller. Yeah, this is going to be quite compact. And then down underneath here, we've got the redstone line that connects up to our lever. And you can see I'm running this into the hoppers underneath. So while our levers are on, you can see some testing carpets there. While our lever is on, these hoppers won't be able to pull any items from the crafter. But as soon as the lever is off, they will be able to pull items from the crafter, which again solves the multiple wood types issue. This lever line then runs into the redstone clock, which is going to be powering all of our crafters on and off very, very quickly. So they'll constantly be trying to craft things like this, which may actually be an issue for some of these crafting recipes. We'll have to wait and see. I can't wait and see. It's definitely going to be an issue, isn't it? Like, if I tell this thing to make stairs, it's going to make me a bunch of buttons, isn't it? I'm going to end up with a ton of buttons. I guess we're about to find out. I'm going to drop a bunch of oak logs into this, and let's see what happens. So we're getting planks. I think we're getting a lot of sticks. I forgot about sticks. Okay, we have a lot of sticks, some stairs. Okay. What do we do about this? This is going to be difficult. This is actually going to be quite difficult for us to deal with. Because all the wooden crafting recipes have the possibility of making a button, a pressure plate. There's so many options for what it could craft. So we're going to have to do the signal strength of 9 thing, but I don't even know if we can do that in this amount of space. Ah, good grief. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? I'm lying down in my chair, by the way. Yes, my chair is fancy. I can lie down in it. This is a little bit more challenging than I expected. I guess I don't need to worry about these things connecting up to one another, because there'd never be a situation where they're crafting simultaneously. Like, it's always going to be one thing crafting at a time, so they can connect. This is the most horribly confusing mess I think I've ever created in my entire life, and I have no clue if any of it is going to work at all. It did not, and more embarrassingly, it's because of a schoolboy error. Much head scratching later, I gave up. Even more head scratching later, my goodness, is this actually working? Does this idea actually work? Okay, so the items flowing into this crafter right here, which is turning them all into planks. And then they are coming down into this system here. And they are being converted into stairs. This thing is so big and it's so ugly. But it seems to be working. Are we getting anything other than stairs coming out? No, it is purely stairs coming out of this thing. Our buffer seems to all be working well. There's no chance of crafted items going into filled containers and then spilling out everywhere. The items are outputting nicely to the barrel. Oh, and it just ran out of logs. Did we get... No, it didn't. It stopped trying to craft things. Despite the fact that there are planks in there. This is good. We've only got stairs. Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't even... I can't even explain. Oh, it's been a long day. So I guess at this point we would then switch off the system, and that should empty out our little crafter here. Yep, it's been emptied, and the planks have ended up in the output. Wow. Yes. So how does this part work? Well, simply put, the logs that we have selected travel out from these barrels right here and then go into this crafter, get crafted up into planks, and that sends them down into this item buffer, which will stop the crafter running if there's too many items inside the barrel. That is because if a crafter crafts something and tries to put it into a filled container, it doesn't do that. It spits it out, which is really bad. Those planks then travel down through into the system and then go into the crafters, and then this massive circuit right here basically is detecting a signal strength of 9 from the crafters. So we have got 9 bits of redstone dust running out from each of these crafters. When one of the redstone line gets power to a signal strength of 9, it will extend one of these pistons, which will then power this little piston down here. We'll push this block down here, putting the block in front of the redstone clock, which will then power all of the crafters, but of course only one crafter will have items into it because of the selection system, and then that item will be outputted to the item stream. Goodness gracious me, my brain is a scrambled mess. I can barely speak. Let's get this thing finished. I've just used copper bulbs inside of the redstone circuit and it's made life easier. These things are genuinely awesome. In fact, this whole build is pretty awesome. I mean, look at this thing. Now that I've got all of the different circuits in there, it looks ridiculous. It is so sandwiched and compact. and crunched. Basically, all the air has been removed, and it makes way for redstone circuits. This was a much bigger build than I was expecting, I must admit. Kind of thought this would take me a couple of hours, maybe 4 hours at the most. It's taken me 2 days. It's definitely the Rolls Royce of sawmills. I'd love to come back to this and try and make something a little bit less fancy, but I digress. Let's watch this thing work. Now, I thought this would be best to do in the form of a montage so that you could see a variety of items being crafted, and as you can see, it does work. It's an incredibly satisfying machine to use. You select your wood type, you select the thing that you want to craft, and then you flick a lever, bunch of noises happen, there's a big ringing sound so that you can actually tell that it's running, and then things start popping out of the bottom. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day that that happened in Minecraft. Now, with that being said, this isn't the fastest machine in the world. Unfortunately, we are limited by hopper speed in a machine like this, which means things like chests take a very long time to craft up a large quantity of. So if you were doing a lot of chest crafting, I would probably recommend a specialized super fast crafter, and I might end up working on one of those in a little bit. For this though, this is just for crafting a decent quantity of things that you need regularly in the fanciest way possible. It's just so cool. It's really, really cool. I'm chuffed to bits with it. Couldn't be happier. So glad that it's all working. I hope that you enjoyed watching the process of me build it, and I'll catch you in the next video. See ya!